because the noise from the cicadas actually might have plagued Pharaoh's kingdom a little bit too hard. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. But yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna go for a little walk. That noise is kind of loud. Give me a second here. So I just want to kind of talk to people for a second and see what was going on out there and get to know a few people today and see how everybody's doing. For anybody who's kind of new to my channel and hasn't really heard me talk before, I kind of I talk about the Ten Commandments a lot. Give me one second. The Ten Commandments for me are kind of like this wine cooler. A nice little drink to keep me satisfied. But I try to remain sober, if you catch what I'm saying. Because when you're sober-minded, you can almost be more clear with the things that you do. You know, it's written in a lot of different places that a person should be sober-minded, and I believe that's some accurate information. When a person is, thank you, shout out Double D Animations. When a person is more clear-minded, they're not affected by the noise from the outside world around them. I could use like, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're like locusts or cicadas. I could use that for an example. When the world is really loud around you, what you simply do is you either learn how to overcome the environment or you switch locations till it's no longer a problem. A lot of times some people aren't as blessed as others in life, and so they aren't blessed with the ability to move and travel and do different things like that. And so sometimes what you can do is you can find the peace in your own environment. And different things that'll probably affect us on the outside world, like you have people that, even in everyday conversation, sometimes people will talk really negatively about themselves, about others. Sometimes it's ingrained so deep that it's hard to see. And so what's really the best option is to give love. I'll give you an example. I was in Les Felwick's chat yesterday, his live videos, and I was just giving a bunch of information, and I don't think he has any moderators or anything like that, so I just like talk to people a lot. Well, every once in a while you get people saying thank you or, oh, that's some good information, but for the most part, people will like attack or call me Satan or something like that. So this one guy had ended up calling me a name, or he told me to get a job or something like that. And so then I asked him, I said, where do you work? You know, how's it going? And he said he was retired. And then I was like, oh, you know, that's a blessing. Enjoy your retirement. I hope you have a beautiful day. And then we started talking about music. Not everybody's like this. So just a disclaimer. Sometimes when people are angry, they're angry. So you just kind of got to give people time. Me and my girlfriend sometimes, oh, and if you guys have any questions, you can ask at any time. I don't care. But my girlfriend sometimes, if we get into it or if we're upset with each other, the best option for me as a living witness is when I calm down and let the situation go, or when I remain level-headed, then I can handle the situation better. Sometimes that's a hard thing to do. I'm not coming here saying you got to do this and that. Let me be a living witness. There have been times where I have got super upset and almost blown my top, so to speak. In terms of anger, I've gotten so angry where logic doesn't matter anymore, and I'm just like trying to hurt with words or attack, you know what I mean? And throughout time, I'm learning how to subdue that righteously. You know what I mean? I'm learning how to control my inner anger, control my inner thoughts, so that way it doesn't get to the point where I'm erupting. A lot of times when I call things temptation, I'll give you an example. You can be like in a really good mood and somebody can tempt you. You could be in a really good mood and somebody could tempt you with something. I'll give you an example. You're like, maybe you're watching TV and a really great show comes on, so you catch a vibe, and now you're vibing with the show, laughing, and then you get a great text. And then you get some good information about maybe a family reunion that's coming up. And then maybe all of a sudden a boyfriend or a girlfriend or maybe a family member, somebody calls you or texts you or they show up. And everything you try to do to help them is just, you give them good advice. They're not trying to hear it. They're like, I'm mad. You don't have the right. Because I'll give you an example. Sometimes when people will come up and give you like a story or something, or they'll tell you what's going on or why they're upset. And the reason why I say it's better to be understanding and to listen a lot of times is because when somebody's truly upset, I've noticed when you try to help them what they'll do is it'll kind of turn back on you. Like my girlfriend can tell me about how her job's being bad to her, or she can tell me this and that, or a friend at work can come up and say, man, I'm sick of this or that, and they just tell me all this negative stuff. Well, when I give advice, a lot of times what ends up happening is they like turn back on me. So like my girlfriend dealing with her daughter, I could be like, hey, what's going on, calm down for a little bit. But I'm not exempt from this. I do that sometimes. I'm upset and I just want people to listen. And so, we all just, when we start to learn to listen a little bit more and understand each other, then we're better off, you know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm not some huge judge. I just trying to shine a little light. The relationships that we can actually build and the things we can do in the world are amazing. We just got to go out and find it. Even like now with that noise that was just going on. See, I changed locations and it's much better now. I can actually keep going even further and walk even further. I'm gonna actually have to text my girlfriend real quick and tell her something. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, disclaimer, I do not advocate for cigarettes. They're dangerous and I'd smoke them. So I'm just gonna smoke one real quick. I'm sorry. All right, so back to I've been hearing some great messages today, too. I heard a message earlier talking about, just love your friends and forgive people. And when I talk about forgiveness, a lot of times, guys, I'm gonna show you a trick real quick. Sometimes you'll hear me say sorry, and then you'll hear me say thank you for those loving words from who I am. Because if I were to get mad, like let's say anybody in my chat, if I were to get mad at you guys, first, I'm getting mad on the inside. And so the true essence of forgiveness is when you're forgiving, you're actually forgiving yourself first. Because what's happening is yourself is the one that's getting mad. And so then when you go back to the source and go, hey, whoa, calm down real quick, calm down. It's kind of like the automatic nervous system is going to do what it's going to do. And then it's my job as the living person to kind of sift through it. Like when you're cleaning a room, you know what I mean? You're sweeping the room and you notice a whole bunch of stuff on the floor that can hurt somebody and trip and fall. So, treat the imagination and the heart the same way, you know what I mean? Forgiveness is about forgiving yourself, then you can forgive others. Because if I'm really mad at somebody and I'm trying to forgive them, ultimately the only thing that's going to happen is I'm like doing it for a show. Because on the inside, I would still be really mad. And so who am I really forgiving? You know what I mean? I'm pretending like I'm cool with them, but deep down, they probably going to keep interacting with me. And sooner or later, I'm going to snap, right? That's what most people do. They'll be like, oh, it's fine. It's nothing. Then they let a whole bunch of stuff pile on top, and then it kind of collapses and stuff. So you got to be careful of that, because when I am vigilant and I am paying attention to my surroundings, then I am better equipped to handle certain situations. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will talk about the kingdom of heaven, the physical things. Well, I'm trying to teach people that, it's good to have whatever you're going to have on the inside, because that's your story. But be careful of people teaching certain things, because what they're doing is they'll distort your heart. They'll distort your kingdom of the heaven. So when I really don't like using the word God, because I don't know what each person's God's image is. So I don't like one person. I can say you're a God to them, and they might just think, okay, I have control over my life. And then another person, I can say you're God to them, and they might start twirling around the streets trying to, you know what I mean? And so that's why I try to be as clear as possible. And I just say, I am the living one. You know what I mean? I am the one who controls everything that I do. And of course, there's outside situations. But truly, that's why I say the witnesses that lay dead in the streets, ultimately the bigger picture are Moses, because they tried to kill him in the wilderness, and John the Baptist, because they tried to hang him in the field. Now, if you really pay attention to both of their messages outside of worshiping them, you'll see that Moses is the freedom from everything, and that John is like the love from everything. Then when you go even deeper than that, you'll see that Elijah and Joshua is the fire and the sword. You basically use the fires to fight the concepts and the gods of the world, burn it off. Then what you do is you use the sword of the mouth to fight against those concepts. So like when I talk about the lamb is the 10 commandments and I say his sword is the mouth, I'm not necessarily meaning our mouths. I mean, that's basically what the spirit is talking with, warring against the concepts on who I am. So I'll give you an example. I could be sitting on my couch, as I said before, and I'm gonna show you how the lamb works. Now I don't have no other gods or concepts in my head, and I will reach with a sword. So it's the word now. So now all of a sudden I'm sitting on my couch and I start thinking some crazy thoughts. Now this lamb comes with the sword and goes, I am with thee. Do not be bound by the concepts of this world. Don't have vain imaginations. You know what I'm saying? Don't take who I am in vain. Now all of a sudden I'm remembering, the Lord is with me. I won't take myself in vain. But then I circumcise that once it gets too hot, because then I could be like Elijah and be lifted up by the fire. And so, you know, I'm not saying what actually happened in history. See, I'm using the word to fight a concept that could cause mental problems in my head. And that's essentially what the lamb's doing. He's trying to, I don't want to say just he, because then I'm giving an image to something. The lamb is trying to, the lamb is trying to fight the concepts of the world to protect who I am. And so that's really why when people will be like, what's God and what's his image and what's his name and what's his word? That's the thing. Once you start to give power a word or an image or anything, even the only reason I say I am who I am is because I'm just using words to symbolize that we are each the Most High, and what's manifested is our kingdom. What comes out of the heart is what the king wants. And so, you know, that's why if you look at certain spots, I'll talk about Jesus a lot, but like I told you all, that's the wine. That's like, so look at what he's preaching. Now somebody's like, oh, I'm a God. And then they're like, I can jump off of a cliff. But then remember, the word comes back, hey, don't tempt who I am. You know good and well outside of your little religion right now, if you jump off this cliff, what's going to happen? You see what I mean? You go even further and you start living the real world, and you're like, I make you heal and I make you do that. Don't bear false witness. You know that stuff's not true. You know you're not just going to do magic and stuff. See, the word, it's not no name or nothing. It's just coming back to me like, hey, stop doing, hey, look, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that. And so then I don't go, hey, there's a magician over there pretending to be Harry Potter. No, that's ruining the kingdoms. So Harry Potter's a cool little magical story. I love Hogwarts and all that stuff. I love Ninja Turtles. I love Captain Planet. Dude, they used to put the rings together and then they come together and fight Captain Pollution. Sometimes I feel like Captain Planet, you know what I mean? Not even Goku, you know, I know they go Super Saiyan and do all that, but I'm not going to run through the downtown talking about Super Saiyan, you know what I mean? The word protects me and the spirit. And so that's why a lot of people see me and be like, you're so kind and you're so sweet. That's because I got the word and the spirit. Basically, we all have a spirit anyway, and spirit just means who we are on the inside, basically what we're made of. And so then you go even further from that. After you go out the spirit, you got the flesh, who we are, and then the words we read lead us to go do anything. What do people say? People ask me, does God talk through the word? And so what I hear when I hear that is they're saying, does who I am talk through my word? And so, you know, it's just, I'm just trying to enlighten a few people and help people. And oh yeah, my buddy, I had a buddy growing up, AC, he was a huge Vegeta fan. That's how I was always a Goku fan. I felt like we was the two brothers and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I was Goku, he was Vegeta. And then you have my other homie, he was they don't really leave too much leeway for other great characters if they're not evil, like, because you look at Broly and all the other Saiyans and they was like all evil. Even Vegeta was until he got redeemed. So I don't want to say he was evil. He was not. He was trying to blow planets up. So but yeah, Vegeta, my guy. He funny because once he got with Bulma, that's the essence of a strong warrior. He didn't have to use his power to start destroying stuff. He took care of his family. I even say Vegeta was more righteous than Goku in a sense because Goku left his people. You know, he kept trying to train and left Gohan. But Vegeta, he didn't leave his kids. He stayed there for his people. So, you know, everybody got each character. That's why I like everybody. I also think of Vegeta and Goku like Ken and Ryu. Like Ken and Ryu. That's another great combo too. Ken and Ryu. But then you can't forget about Guken and Akuma. Guken was when I first got to Guken was legit. Because he had the double Shoryukens and he could jump and shoot them. bro. Oh, I used to act a fool with Guken. Him, I like the Kuma too. That shadow move. Ah, so Sasuke, bro. I got so deep in. Okay, so this was the thing. I didn't watch Naruto for years. I was always a Dragon Ball Z fan. I was running my mouth. I said that about both shows. I said I'm not gonna like Rick and Morty, and I said I'm not gonna like Naruto. Man, I ended up watching both series, Shippuden and Shonen Jump, and then I kind of watched a little bit of where Naruto had a kid, but yes, Sasuke and I don't know why I said Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto was legit. Once he started getting the nine tails and he was doing all this stuff, I was like, oh, bro, Naruto cool to the mud. But yeah, you know, just them type of I feel like them are the characters we should like. You know what I mean? Good characters that, because them are heroes that don't really want nobody. Even if you look at a lot of times, I like to think of myself as Inuyasha too. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that show. He had the scarlet robe and the big sword. Inuyasha was cool because his destiny, now look at this, Inuyasha's destiny was to be a demon, but he ended up saving the world and saving humanity, you know what I mean? Trigun, I don't know if you ever heard of Vash the Stampede. He was supposed to destroy humanity, he blew up the moon, ended up saving humanity, you know what I mean? I've heard of Anti-Hero, but I haven't had a chance to check that one out yet. I'm old school. I used to watch like Gundam Wing and Tenchi Muyo. Tenchi used to be every time I get home from school. Tenchi Muyo. Yeah, Joker. See, one of my favorite Batmans is the one with the Dark Knight. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. That dude was a legend. That's another thing I want to talk about. These actors sometimes be giving their souls up to entertain us guys, and people be throwing them to the dirt when they do something wrong. Like, I read bios about Heath Ledger, and I was listening to Cat Williams talk about meeting Jim Carrey one time, and he stayed in his character for all the years. Every movie he does, he stays in that character until the movie's over with. Cat Williams said he went to go shake his hands, and an agent jumped in front. Was like, no, his name is, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's got to be brutal on his psyche, on his conscience. But you know, everybody's got their own art and craft, and so I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just concerned about sometimes, you know, I miss Heath Ledger, bro. Heath Ledger was a legend because he got into the role. He made me really feel like being the Joker could be something positive, because yeah, dude was kind of like brutal, but I felt his pain. That's what it was. It wasn't so much like a lot of people, what they do is when they make a character, they just want him to be brutal and violent like Thanos. So like, yeah, I can snap my finger and everything's. With a Joker, it was like, do you know why I have these scars? He was real ambiguous. You couldn't figure him out. It was like mysterious, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm 35. I remember being 28. It's about the time I met my girl, a little bit earlier than that actually. But yeah, good old 20s. I will tell you one thing, 30s, I was one of those guys that's like, I'm still fighting it, but when I first felt my knee, I was like, ah. I think I was walking down some stairs and my knee said, not today, son. My back too. Every once in a while I stand up and my back, oh my goodness, it starts to hurt. Not all the time, but sometimes. Yeah, Thanos, he had his problems and he had his thing going on. Thanos is kind of like the ultimate reality of the situation. Thanos is what, if I really were to take I Am, and I'm not saying being murderous, but if I was to essentially, and it's kind of like what John the Baptist talks about, if I would take the pure nature of I Am or existence and say that's okay, then every cycle I'd be like, okay, we got to destroy life, we got to build life, we got to destroy life, we got to build life. And that's essentially what nature is. You got stuff that's built and you got stuff that's destroyed. And so that's why with my energy and power, I know that all the destruction and stuff exists, but what I am trying to do is add peace and love and tranquility. I'm trying to build up the other side, because the side of destruction is kind of getting heavy. And they gather in the rings together, all right. So I'm just trying to help with that. And that's a lot of times the reason I like just talking to people, because in the real world, that's what I do. I'm not around a lot of religion and stuff. And even when I am around it, I don't go up to people saying, I tell you, I'm real quiet. I'll talk to people and I'll be into their stuff and see what's going on. And I won't really necessarily like condemn people and stuff like that, because you never know the type of blessings you can miss out on. Hey, how's it going? So, the more kind really you are to people, it'll be like the biggest heaven. That's how you bring heaven to earth, I think, to kind of make things better for people, make things better for yourself. Because a lot of times I'll hear people talking and there's a lot of like narcissist talk going around. They're narcissists, these are narcissists, that's narcissist. Yeah, I understand that, but we all, that doesn't help. Narcissist is like a descriptive word. You got to like kind of fill in the blanks. A lot of our sentences, yes, I'm the same way, Double D. I don't like it. Yep, I do too. See, brothers of the feather, covenant family. But you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what really it is. It's like Babel. We got to do this way. Y'all got to do that way. And that's fine for each of those people, but it kind of turns into fighting after a while. And it's like, if we just kind of like didn't fight, it'd be cooler. But I don't think we're at that stage of humanity yet, because I'll be a living witness. It's kind of brutal sometimes. But yeah, back to talking to people that are in religion. A lot of times in the real world, like a man could come up to me and he's probably Jewish and stuff. And so what I do is I kind of like listen to his story, see what's going on. You get about the 50-50. Sometimes people will tell you like, this is love, that's love. Sometimes people, for the most part in America, they go to Jesus. They'll say Jesus is love and this and that. But then you got the other side of the spectrum. Don't miss the mark. You're going to go to hell. You're going to pay if you don't bow. So a lot of times when I'm hearing that, if they're not like mean, this is how I approach the situation. If it's sweet and it's kind, what I'll do is, especially if they're talking about Jesus or Moses or somebody in the Bible, I'll give them all the loving scriptures and stuff, but I'll do it like slick. So if they're saying Jesus, I'll still say Jesus. If they're saying God or Elijah or something, I'll still say God and Elijah. But what I do is I'm giving them all and they can't contradict me. That's the funny part, because it's in the word. So all we can do is really, and so what I'll do is I'll give them the most powerful love, I'm power, I'm this and that, and just tell them about all that stuff. And then at the end of a lot of the conversations, they'll be like, I never thought of it like that before, or I didn't know, or I didn't. And that's when I hear that, when they be like, oh, I ain't thinking like that before. When they say they're not as afraid, or they feel like they're like more at rest, y'all don't understand. That's like when the mailman knock at your door, do, and you open it like, what's up, man? Why you knocking today? Like, I got a package from UPS, but it's an envelope. And then you open it and the government's like, we looked at this claim you filed 20 years ago at your unemployment, and here's a $25,000 check. It feel like that, you know what I'm saying? Wisdom is beautiful. It cries from the streets. I'm not talking about that, what's going on up there, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Hey, how you doing? I hope you have a beautiful day. Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, being kind, being loving. I know I know I sound like a broken record, but the more you really institute something and the more you put something in, the more effective it'll be later. Like if I was to start a barbecue, if I only put a few coals and just a drop of lighter fluid, then you probably is gonna get a weak fire. But if you subtly keep doing it over time, that's what I want to talk about also. A lot of these names of tribes and stuff, for people that's like lost in a lot of stuff, if you go and pay attention to the Egyptian words and stuff like that, what they're doing is talk about condemnation, and they'll be like, this is bad, or that's evil, or that. And I'll be like, okay, let me help you understand. You guys are reading Egyptian and Babylonian words. And a lot of times I'll be like, no, it's the word of God. So then I got to go deeper. I'll take them straight to Moses. I'll be like, look, I am who I am. I am Simeon. He was like, yeah, that's the word of God. That's his name. Okay. So I says, the whole Bible fallible? He'll be like, yeah. So then what I do, I take them to where they say Egypt is the garden. Then I take them to the beginning, the good and evil. Then they'll say, but Jesus. I say, okay. Jesus said, don't condemn. So no good and evil. Then they're like, but the kingdom and the keys. So then I just keep going and going and going until one eventually, because I'm not beating them up with it. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. We're going with each other. Because if we start arguing, the journey's over with. I messed up. Because what ends up happening is, now that we're arguing, if we're arguing, what happens is they're not trying to receive anything I'm saying, and we're just fighting. And the point is to not make them angry and fight, but to bring them peace. So now I'm a worker of fighting. But a lot of times, that's why I'm afraid to speak in a lot of these chats, because I'll get really loving words from the person talking in the video. I'll get loving words for fans, but some of these moderators do not like me. I don't. Not all the video owners like me too either, but I don't know. I think there's a trend of like drama and violence in the world, and so when you're kind of like nice and loving, they don't take too kindly to that. Sorry about the cigarettes. I smoke them. Disclaimer: cigarettes are not healthy, but I'm not condemning people who smoke cigarettes. Of course, you know. So I was in Les Felwood's chat yesterday. I was talking about it, and I was leaving all these words and helping people. And this one person asked me if I was a moderator, and something strange that I've noticed. Like I said, I don't do all this magic and stuff, so this would be technology. But sometimes in a lot of these videos, I'm not saying Les Felwood is AI, but a lot of these videos, when you type certain things, the video starts to go towards that subject, even if it's not. It's weird to explain. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll type certain stuff in Les Felwood's chat, and he'll have a video going. Then it'll go to another video with the same stuff I was talking about. So like, he could be talking about, it happened a couple times. He was talking about Peter and Paul in one of his sermons, and just talking about how like Paul was helping the Gentiles and stuff. So I started talking about the dragon and the different heads and talking about how it's the Ten Commandments and stuff. His next video that came on was talking about the revelation and the Ten Commandments and the Lamb. I was like, what the But then like moderators started coming in saying, stop, you're the Satan and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know, it's weird. Certain stuff that I see. Thank you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I understand because I'm in the medical field, medical science too. I wouldn't say medical field. I'm a CNA and I've been in nursing classes. I can still get my LPN. Time to stop tooting my own horn. But I don't like when people approach people and be like, you can quit or it's easy and that stuff. Guys, people are trying to be, what is it called when they're trying to be powerful? Like, I can do it, you can do. Or you can too. You know, you just gotta avoid certain people like that sometimes. Because what's really happening is they're trying to usurp their power over you and they make themselves feel better. That's why, you don't see me getting I see a lot of people that work for God. I see a lot of people that are preaching stuff and they be like, you need to retain semen, and if you're doing this and that, and if you're a baby mama, baby daddy, you going to da-da-da, and all you people sagging and wearing this, like it's like the Sabbath day, but in real life. Remember on the Sabbath, they couldn't move, and that's what people are basically doing to the world. And so I'm going to say something, and I'm not trying to offend nobody. Like when it says, I gave Peter the keys, when it says Peter got the keys to the kingdom of the heart, heaven, that means he loosed everything in his heart and other people's hearts so that it could roam through the earth. Once it roams through the earth, somebody later has to come burn it off with the fires that don't consume. That's basically the Ten Commandments. The reason I talk about the Ten Commandments a lot is because once you basically get it, it's not my job to mold you. That's the King of Kings job. So now you get it, and then like all the stuff that's on the inside, only you know. So then the spirit of the reason I say the word is king is because now if you get a separate entity inside of you that's pure, like an idea or a concept, that concept or idea goes in and cleans out. If that concept has an image or a name, that image can hurt me. I'll give an example. Let's say antivirus software. If I just had words coming in my head in a continuous stream, that would be like words of righteousness, and I can see which words to pick up, me, the user. Now, if there is a God attached to it, I'm terrified of it, and I don't know which words to pick up, and I'm doing whatever it tells me to do. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. When they understand the concept of I am, that's all of us, and we all basically picking our meals in our buffet. And then it's good meals, because that's like if I'm allergic to chicken or steak, but some God is telling me to go make a plate full of steak. Now I'm eating something I'm allergic to, plaguing myself and trying to carry myself to a hospital and get healed because I just ate a bunch of steak that I knew wasn't right for me. That's just like, I'll give you an example to flip the situation. A lot of people have dietary restrictions. You hear about, I'm not making fun of these, I'm just giving an example. You hear about like kosher and not eating ham and don't eat this and that, and they give all these dietary instructions. Well, I'm gonna give you an example. Remember, if you pay attention to the medical institution, they had a chart. It's called the food chart. And the medical, and these are doctors. They say you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of milk, all this water, eat all this bread. Now they're talking about gluten's bad for you. Milk has too much protein in it, and you can overhydrate yourself. That's why I say it's not always good to jump on a bandwagon. So out of that stuff, if I like bread and I saw that chart, I'd be like, okay, so now eating bread's okay, whatever. But if I look at that chart and go, I have to do this all the time, you see what I'm saying? There's a balance. Same thing with science, right? I could look at one man giving algorithms and equations and figuring out stuff for the real scientific world. But if you take another man who just, oh, the universe isn't real, and we're in a matrix, and a squared plus b squared, so the radius of a pi, and what happened 8 billion years ago before the universe. You see what I'm saying? The other guy is using it in a way that's not really helping, but making himself sound wise. And so that's why it's kind of good to pay attention and navigate personally through different situations. And a lot of times people can't do that because they're caught in religion or they're caught in some type of teaching or idea. That's why I call it the source. Because once I return to who I am, or once a person returns to their heart, all these concepts don't matter, and you won't be ruled over like the Pharaoh rules over people in religion. You see what I'm saying? You just be a free soul. You follow the 10 Commandments, and nothing else matters. Just I am who I am, basically. That's all you know what I mean? I'll see preachers, if I really went off of what, yeah, seriously, if I really went off of what preachers only told me, I wouldn't be able to, I would have never had, because I'm going to give you an example. They say, a lot of these religions say marry inside your own race and your own culture. Like you hear in these like different Judah and Israel and all stuff, when they see people outside of their culture and race, they say those are Gentiles, or you're not supposed to marry or wed them, or all this other stuff. It's like, okay, so now I can only date inside my race and my religion, so there goes that. Then it's like the woman better be humble, modest, praying for years. She better be all for God, but then she gonna be with me, so I don't. So then it's just like, okay, I can't do that. Well, I can't watch all this TV and negativity. I can't do this or that. I can't read this. I can't learn about that. I can't. Until basically I wouldn't be able to do nothing. They would have bound the strong man. And now I can be a perfect little Pharisee for Pharaoh's society. That's basically what it's about. Controlling people. Even outside, I've said many times in relationships. Sometimes, you know what I mean, people don't have control of their life, so they try to control somebody else. And so it's not always about overpowering them and winning, or sometimes you gotta give people time, show them a better nature, show them a better way, show them, because I ain't gonna lie, when I first met my girl, she was kind of cranky sometimes, you know what I'm saying? She was really sweet to me because, you know, we loved each other, but we still do, but she was like kind of mean. I see certain situations in life. Well, you know, I started being really sweet and kind, because if I was just a normal dude, what do dudes always say? Man, F that B, you ain't got to worry about it. It's other women in the sea. Ooh, see, we get too big for ourselves, and then people start to follow all these other manly men and lose their own tribes and their own heart. So I said, let me just be kind, and let me steadily show love and respect. And over time, things begin to get beautiful, because we can't force people to be who we are. And if we do, we're going to be looking forever single and lonely. And I'm not saying people who are alone. What I'm basically saying is, if you're in a relationship, if you don't want to be in that relationship, fine. But if you do, it's not always about how other people tell you what to do. My girl works. I just lost my job. I'm looking for another one, but she's doing a lot, and I'm cleaning and you know, it's just like we come together and help each other. Yeah. Yeah, all is well. Basically, exactly. It's about y'all home, y'all respect. Why do you, even if you pay attention to a home, it's got the walls up, right? There's a few windows for you to see inside, but the rest is private. That's why I don't like when preachers send people after disabled people. I don't like when preachers send people after homosexuals. I don't like when preachers send people after other races and religions. It's just all rhetoric, you know what I mean? And all that stuff causes harm to each of us, because like we might build a nice kingdom while we're alive, but if something happens afterwards, it's like it even says in some of these books, what are you going to do? You're not there to defend it. And then those same fiery words could hurt a lot of different people in the future. You know what I mean? So it's really just about love and respect and helping each other and enjoying life. Because sometimes in life you might have locusts, and sometimes it might be a beautiful, quiet song. You know what I mean? So you just got to really just pay attention to your surroundings and love each other. But I ain't gonna lie, it's been kind of hot. And I might go ahead and go in the house for a little bit and just relax. Finish drinking a couple brews. It's after 2, I think so. But they say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. 5 o'clock somewhere. So it's been good talking to y'all, and I hope I can be able to find. I think there was one more thing I wanted to say. But I can't remember what it was. Something about, I made a statement a while back, and like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but if you pay attention, Aaron is a spawn from Noah. Noah created an ark, which is the Bible, and the purpose is when he gets off of the ark, he walks the flesh. That's Jesus. So the real names of people is Moses, Joshua, Elijah, and John the Baptist. Those are some good. Yeah, but I'm not trying to. I could talk about that in a later video. But thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.